When I first got involved with AI, they said, we will need triple the energy. Think of this, triple the energy of what we have now. Some people said double. I said, whether it's double or triple, that's crazy. And that was just for AI. It is incredible. And when you see the buildings we're talking about, you start to understand it. But unless you saw it, buildings that go for miles, buildings that are so big, buildings that cost $60 billion. I said, you mean $60 million? When I first got involved, they said, we're building a $60 billion building. I said, do you mean 60 million? 60 million is a big building. It's not that big, but it's pretty big nowadays. They said, no, sir, we're going to spend 60 billion, but now it's like 100 billion and 150 billion. And the bottom line, it takes electricity like nobody's ever seen before. And I said, well, with an old grid, even if we fix it really well, which we're in the process of doing, you can't take that and double our electricity. They're going to have to build it themselves. And I told Mark, I actually told Mark, I told Elon, I told people, and nobody believed me. They said, you're going to let us build our own electricity? Because they've been so used to being beaten down and to have people with no ideas how to solve problems, and then the whole thing fails. It's a whole disaster. They said, no, I'm serious. And in one case, they submitted plans, and they didn't do what I told them. And when I called them, I said, why don't you have your plant here? We thought you were kidding. Are you serious? You really? They couldn't believe it, in a good way. They said, it's too good to be true. And I said, no, it's not. And here's the other thing. You'll have your approvals within 2, 3, or 4 weeks. It used to take 20 years to get it prior to rejection. So in other words, you go 20 years prior to rejection. They'd vote. I've known many plants where they've been, I knew people, they started off young. They were young trying to get approvals for a stupid plant, one plant. Their whole life was devoted to getting this plant. And around 22 years, in one case, 22 years later, he got rejected. I said, that's not good. He wasted, let's say, half of his working life on getting an approval, and he didn't get, now we get it in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. When I came in originally in my first term, we had 2 big LNG plants in Louisiana. They were in the 14th year of getting approvals, and they had just been rejected. And I got involved. They were tremendous plants. They're up now. They're working beautifully. They built the 3rd one. They're magnificent. I mean, if you like pipes, this is a plant. The whole thing is, you look inside, all it is pipes. I've never seen anything quite like it. It's like lying 2 or 3 Empire State Buildings on their side and doing nothing but putting pipes into it. So I didn't know exactly what it represented when I got involved. The first one I got done in 1 day. The second one, I was a little bit slower that week, and it took me 1 week. So I got the first one done in 1 day, got fully approved. And when they called up the head, and I didn't want anything. I don't want anything for myself. I want it for the country. When they called up the head of a company like a Microsoft or like any one of the people in this room, but they called up the heads, they said, no, we got rejected. No, you just got approved. It was 1 day and 1 week, and they were built, and they're in your state, by the way, right? And they are big, and they're doing great,
lots
right?
Of pipes.
And there are lots of pipes, right? That's all I noticed. I said, I've never seen anything like that. Anyway, so for these companies committing to provide or pay for all power generation electricity needed for their AI projects, where possible, they will add capacity to the grid. They're going to be adding a lot of capacity, and I think it's going to be really, and I've seen some power plants. I'm actually more interested in the power plant than I am in information. I said, where do you make the money for this? They said, information. I said, okay, that's good. That's got to be a lot of information, though, right? And it's turning out to be true. David, it better be true, because you got a big bet. This country has a big bet on it. But it's incredible what they're doing and what they're coming up with. Second, they'll cover the costs of upgrading existing power delivery infrastructure and their energy demand as it requires further investment. So they'll be upgrading existing power delivery infrastructure. They will, third, negotiate separate rate structures with utilities to clearly and cleanly assign them to the costs of new capacity investments, and commit to paying even if they do not end up using all of that electricity. They're going to make a commitment. So we're going to have a situation where you're not going to have increased electric bills for homes that are in the area or even outside of the area. And fourth, they'll invest in the local communities where they build and operate, provide workforce development and jobs for skilled Americans like those with us today. We have great skilled people, electricians, engineers, HVAC technicians, server and network technicians, power plant workers, plumbers, welders, and many others, all people that I've hired. All my life I've been hiring you guys, and you've done a great job. I built a lot of buildings, a lot of good ones. And finally, they will use their infrastructure to contribute backup power to local grids during times of need. So they're going to have a lot of backup power. We're going to have a lot of excess. Basically, we're building massive amounts of electricity, and you're not paying for it at all. And the companies want to do it because this way they can, otherwise they couldn't build. I mean, the option really was not about cost. It was about, there's no way of possibly taking the old grid and doubling it in a matter of months or years. So in short, America's largest and richest tech companies will be funding a colossal expansion of U.S. energy. We'll have, I read where China's building tremendous energy. I know, you got to respect it. But we're building similar amounts. We're building what we need. And we're building it through the private sector. We're building it through big companies. And I've seen some of the plans that these geniuses, real geniuses are showing. And they say, wow, that's really good. You're really doing things in terms of technology, electricity, that frankly, the standard, wonderful power companies probably aren't going to be getting there. Maybe as you build them, they'll be starting. Some of the plants that I've seen, Dina, are absolutely unbelievable. So they're going to be producing massive amounts of electricity and energy. The grid, so the American consumers aren't going to have to even think about it.
Well, thank you very much.
And your electric costs are going to be going down. Now,
I think you probably want to speak about war rather than this.
So they'll say, well,
important. This is very important, and
I don't know who's
we're
going to
doing very
follow
well
me,
on,
but whoever is going to follow me is going to have some big advantage. You know, it happened with Biden where we got a lot of approvals for things, but they take statutorily a year or 2 years.
We're going to continue to do well. We have the greatest military in the world by far.
That was good. Not as good as favored nations, which we just got.
That was a tremendous threat.
That's 80 and 90% drops.
47 years they've been killing our people and killing people from all over the world. And
various medicines.
I think we have great support.
And it was good,
and I think if we didn't do it first,
for 2 years. I said, I hope I win this election because I'm going to get so much credit.
That was possible.
And the election was rigged
and we didn't terminate the worst deal, one of the worst deals ever made, the Obama.
He didn't even know what the hell he was talking about.
Nuclear deal, I call it the Obama nuclear deal, where he gave everything to Iran.
He had no idea what he was talking about.
Including a nuclear weapon. It was a road to a nuclear weapon.
And I hate that.
Bad
so this is going to happen
4 years ago because they would have had a weapon 4 years ago.
Somebody's going to be getting a lot of credit into the future. But this is really the pretty current future. Now. This is going to go very quickly. This is going to happen almost immediately. The United States is leading the world in AI by a lot. We're leading China. We're leading everybody by a lot. Without this, you wouldn't even, I don't think you could build,
it's an amazing,
you couldn't build a plant,
amazing thing that's taking place
this, I don't think you could, you'd have to rely on the grid.
For 47 years, we were pushed around.
So the United States is leading by a lot. We're leading everybody. And it's not only China, other countries are very much into it. They all want it. But we're going to be dominant in this field, which is very important.
Wiped out rapidly.
In crypto, we want to be dominant. We want to be dominant in
attacking their neighbors.
Everything we do.
Attacking their,
and this agreement will ensure that America can maintain the most advanced AI infrastructure on the planet without American families being forced to pick up the tab. And that's why the early ones, they hook up to the electric
the killing of utilities,
and they can't produce the
and maybe the biggest factor was the rebuilding of the military in my first term.
They end up raising the rates. It's not going to happen anymore. And now it's going to go the opposite way. They'll make a lot of money.
It really was a complete
electric rates. We actually think they're not going to stay. I think they're going to actually, Chris, they're going to actually come down.
Set them back
your electric bills will actually come down. It'll take a little while,
they would have had a nuclear weapon.
So this new strategy, never tried before in any country, will pave the way for continued American dominance in energy and technology working together.
So we're in very good shape now. I want to let you know that, and we will continue forward.
Because you're going to build them yourself, and if they're not good, you'll make them a little bit bigger and better, right? But
I'm very
again,
proud
a lot of people.
with some of the people in the room.
It took me 6 months to convince people
both
that I was
senators
serious
and
about
congressmen,
this.
we
And we have
rebuilt,
a
and
very
women.
big key
We
to what we're doing is
rebuilt
Lee
our
Zeldin,
military
who's in
during the
charge
first
of
term.
the environmental
And
department.
we're using it a little bit more
energy.
than I thought we would have to.
And the
Venezuela
job he's
worked out
done is incredible. Getting
really
you
great.
fast
We have a
approvals.
wonderful relationship
So some
with
of
the
the plants are
president and
starting in the
various
companies.
train wreck waiting to happen, and the president recognized from the start,
Thank you
we have to lead in AI, and we have to stop electricity price rise, and those are not
OSTP
in
Director
contradiction.
Michael
These companies
Kratsios,
are smart, they're powerful, they're strong, they
AI
can build
and
power,
crypto czar
partner with
David
them.
Sachs,
And that's exactly
as
all
well
of
as
them
the
embraced it,
commissioners
all
of
them
the
have
Federal
spent money
Energy
to these
Regulation
noble
and
causes,
Regulatory
and as we heard,
Commission
a
and
number of states that have partnered with the
audience
people
in
on
the
this
audience,
table
you have Laura
have announced
Swift,
multi-year rate
David
freezes.
Rosner,
Indiana's the
Lindsay
leader
C.
now in
and
the first one filing
Judy
for a
Chang,
rate
all very well-known
reduction.
people, especially
But it
in
is
this
the
group
partnership of these
geniuses.
companies
We have a lot of
and a
geniuses
business
here.
focused on
And a
government,
lot of
focused on the
geniuses that are also
American
very strong people
that is the transformation.
representing
But I could
labor.
not be
And we
more
love
proud to
labor.
be
We
here.
love these
I've got
guys.
to thank also
I also
our
want to
FERC
recognize
commissioners
the
that
industry
are
leaders here
FERC,
to sign the
FERC
pledge,
is a
and this
noble
is a pledge
regulatory
that's going to be a
agency
very
that just
important
got
pledge to the
bureaucratic and
country
lived
and
in a
to
different
their
time, in a
companies
different
also.
age.
They
We need to
benefit
make things
also
happen fast.
very
We need to do
substantially, including
Yes, can all the FERC commissioners stand
President
up?
of
because, you know, they're the most
Google,
powerful people in the
Ruth
country.
Porat, that's a good company. That's big stuff. Google, you know, it used to be U.S. Steel and things like that. Now it's Google.
I have had more people say, do you know
places.
FERC? I said, do I
President
know
of
FERC? What
Meta,
about FERC? And I
Dina
learned so
Powell,
much
who was
about
with me.
you.
Dina
And you are the
Powell
most powerful
with me
people
for a
in the
long
country.
time, and
so
I called
we want
up
to be
Mark
very
and I
nice to
said,
you. Please get us
congratulations, that was a
approval.
good hire.
Please get us those
Right?
approvals.
That was a good hire.
Thank
She's
you all very much.
fantastic, and her
Thank you.
husband is fantastic.
The FERC team has worked
a
hard,
great senator,
smartly, and
he ran in
practically
a place
to enable the
called
revolution that's going to
Pennsylvania,
happen.
and he ran
America
against
leading
somebody
in
that was very
AI
tough
and
to win.
stopping the
It was
price
very
rises.
tough to win.
Thank you all so much.
And he won pretty
boy, one of
easily,
the other
actually.
things I'm
People were
crazy
shocked.
lucky about
I
is to
wasn't.
work as
You
a
and I weren't
partner
surprised
with a
with
guy
it.
who has the hardest
But
job
he's
in
a
the
spectacular
world
man.
and does it with a smile, does it with
President
charm, and
of
does it with
Microsoft,
grace.
Brad Smith.
Speaker
Thank
Mike
you,
Johnson.
Brad. It's good to see you. Microsoft
Well,
is
thanks so much, Mr. Secretary. Thanks to you all. It's a great honor to be
Open
here with the leaders of
AI,
tech and industry, the FERC
Brad
commissioners. They are so
Lightcap.
very important, and
Brad,
all these
where
folks
are you,
who
Brad?
help all this happen.
so young.
Look, only
Look at
President
how
Trump has the gravitas to be able to
I think you
assemble
have
the
to be
leaders of all
young in
these
that
great
world,
companies in one
Brad.
room, and also to conceive
Thank
of an
you,
idea
Brad.
like the
CEO
ratepayer
of
protection
Amazon
pledge. This is
Web
an idea whose
Services,
time has
Matt
come. I think it's going to be
Garman.
so well
Matt?
received around the
Thank you,
country
Matt.
because
Very well.
let's
Say
be honest
hello
about
to
it.
my
There
friend,
are
Brad.
concerns
Doing a
that
good
people have
job.
had. There's a lot of misinformation out there, Mr.
CEO
Secretary, about the rise in
Oracle.
energy demand and what that's
Clay.
going to mean for our communities. So it is so meaningful to have leaders, the titans, to come
fairly
in and
good?
say, everybody be calm. This is going to be great. It's actually going to be better going forward. Not only is
I
America
usually
going to
don't.
stay
I
on
just
top
go
and
right
lead and
over
be the
it and I
strong
say, Moothquark.
superpower that
But,
we are, we're going to
how are
continue to
you?
lead
Thank
on
you very
AI.
much.
We're going to continue to make the
Appreciate it.
communities
I give you a
better.
hard job. It's a hard
I'm in the
man.
state of Louisiana. A lot of this is happening in Louisiana, Mr. President. It's not just a bunch of
That's
beautiful
right. I think
pipes.
so. Thank you
It's
very
also
much.
data
And
centers.
Gwen
Matt is doing a big one. And, of course, Amazon's
Gwen
working in
Shotwell of
Louisiana and Stack and so many of the other
XAI,
companies. And
another
our communities are so
real
grateful
leader.
to have that
Thank you very
investment.
much.
And
Thank you.
also
Thank you very
grateful
much.
because they're
Appreciate
coming
it.
in as great
And say
corporate
hello, right?
partners, community
To a special
partners.
person.
And they're acting
The last
responsibly. They're
administration,
helping to
their
build out
allies
the
in
energy
Congress
grid.
gave us the worst
and they're making life
inflation
better, not just
in,
with
I say,
good
the
paying
history of our
jobs.
country, but they
They're
say
actually
48
making
years.
life better in these communities
So I'll
in
take
our
either
states.
one. It
And so
doesn't matter.
we're so grateful
The
for
press
that.
gets
I like
very
what you said a
upset when
moment
I say
ago.
in the
This
history
is
of our
a
country.
win-win-win across the
They
board.
get
You
very
have
angry
everybody
about
who's
it.
coming to the
Actually,
table in good
they
faith
say it
under
was
the
only
leadership of
48
this
years.
extraordinary
I say,
president
you know, in
to
some
make
ways,
this happen for
48
the
years
country.
sounds worse.
It's at the perfect time.
It's very
Trust
specific.
is not given
But it
by
sounds a little worse.
communities
But
and
either
local
way, take
stakeholders.
either
It's
one.
built
And the
over
ruinous
time. And
energy
I think
policies
this
were a
pledge
big
is a
reason
huge
why
part
many
of building that
working
important
families,
foundation for the
utility
future.
bills increased
America's
more
back,
than
Mr. President.
30%
So
during the
excited about
Biden
that. Excited to be a
administration.
part of this.
The
Thanks so much
worst
for letting us speak.
administration in the history of our country. That's
think
why
we'll go
on
with
day
John.
one
Is that all
I
right?
declared
John,
a
you said?
national energy emergency. We
Thank
had
you, Mr. President.
no choice
in places
but to
like
do
Ohio,
that.
this is a very, very
And
big
signed
deal.
an executive order to dramatically
I know
accelerate
that you know
construction
well that
of
if we
new
want to
energy
have
infrastructure,
economic dominance
which
and
we
national
are
security
doing at
dominance,
record
we
numbers.
need to have technological
And we're
dominance.
rapidly bringing down
and AI
those
and data
costs.
centers
very
are a big
rapidly.
piece of that.
We inherited
and I know
a mess.
that
I
the
say
American
it
people
all the
want
time.
to win.
We inherited
They
a
want to
total
win
mess,
this just like you do.
and in many cases we fixed it, but we're fixing it. And we'll always be fixing it. We're going to make it better and better and better.
We want to have
Many
AI
Americans are
dominance
still
because
concerned
that
that
helps
the massive energy
give our
demand from
military,
AI,
our
data data centers could drive up their electricity bills in the future.
Needs AI
we understand that.
America wants to
By
win.
2035, energy demand is expected to more than triple. Can you believe it? A lot of it is AI, and
so do
it's
the
also
people in
all
places
these
like
big plants
Ohio
that are
that are
being built
concerned
all
about
over the
energy
country
prices,
there.
right?
Coming in from Canada and Mexico, from Germany,
those folks
from
out there,
Japan,
the construction trades,
from South
the
Korea,
builders, the plumbers,
they're
pipe
all
fitters,
coming here
HVAC,
to build cars again. You know, we lost 54% of our car
the people that build
industry
the power
because we had
plants, the laborers, the boilermakers. Like these are working people in
honestly,
places like
trade
Ohio
and
that
business,
do
they didn't know what the hell they
amazing
were doing.
work.
I could say the same thing for the chip industry. We lost the chip industry,
people
but it's all coming back. You could have stopped it so easy.
Prices. And what you're
all you would have had to do is put a charge or a tariff on
with the ratepayer
if you want to leave the United States, that's fine. You can go to Taiwan or anywhere you want, but if you're going to make your product and sell it back in here,
and as
you're going to pay 100% or 200 or 300% tariff.
Stability,
and nobody would have ever left.
Reliable electricity.
They missed that opportunity, but it's not going to matter now because it's all coming. They're all coming back.
Battle that
by 2035, energy demand is expected to more than triple. Under the ratepayer protection pledge we're signing today, the big tech companies are making 5 important commitments to keep utility prices down for American consumers. First, these companies are committing to provide or pay for all power generation and electricity needed for their AI projects, which is massive. And where possible, they'll add capacity to the grid by building new power stations. So they're going to be making their own electricity. They're not going to be taking from the grid, and they will actually probably, based on what I'm seeing, they're building overcapacity, and they'll be able to sell that overcapacity at very low prices into the grid.
Ability to pay
in addition to that, we're fixing the grid now. If we
Frontier AI
didn't do this was, I believe, nobody's going to challenge you or challenge me. I think this was my idea. I said, wait a minute, we can't. When I first got involved with AI, they said, we will need triple the energy. Think of this, triple the energy of what we have now. Some people said double.
These great companies
I said, whether it's double or triple,
we need new fabrication capacity.
And that was
new
just for AI.
We need new power plants to be able to do all this great work.
And when you see the buildings we're talking about, you start to understand it. But unless you saw buildings that go for miles,
to data center construction,
buildings that are so big, buildings that cost $60 billion. I said, you mean $60 million when I first got involved.
And to create more American jobs in the communities that choose to build all of these data centers.
I said, you mean $60 million? $60 million is a big
all
building.
these companies here are making themselves accountable to you, Mr. President, and to the American people.
No, sir, we're going to spend $60 billion, but now it's like $100 billion and $150 billion. And the bottom line, it takes electricity like nobody's ever seen before.
At our disposal to
with an
ensure
old
that the
grid,
U.S.
even if we fix it really well, which we're in the process of doing, you can't take that and double our electricity. They're going to have to build it themselves.
And today we recognize that building the future requires massive amounts of reliable energy. And I'm grateful to you, Mr. President, for acting so decisively to ensure that the growing demands of energy that we have are never passed to the American household.
They've been so used to being beaten down and to have people with no ideas how to solve problems, and then the whole thing fails. It's a whole disaster.
I also want to thank your outstanding team for partnering with us.
They submitted plans, and they didn't do what I told them.
To watch this transformational
and when I called them, I said, why don't you have your plan here?
America to lead.
We thought you were kidding.
Our country has had very big transformational
They couldn't believe it. In a good way. They said, it's too good to be true.
Or the Industrial
and
Revolution.
I said, no, it's not. And here's the other thing. You'll have your approvals within 2, 3, or 4 weeks.
And those 3 years,
it used to take 20 years to get it prior to rejection. So in other words, you go 20 years.
You have not only
prior
made
to
sure
rejection.
that energy dominance is a key.
I've known many plants where they've been. I know people. They started off young.
But you've also done something
they were young,
very important.
Trying to get
you've made
approvals for a
us all
stupid
know
plant.
That it's not
one plant.
About the products,
their whole life was devoted to getting this
and
plant.
At Meta, we are so
and around
proud of the jobs that we are
in one
creating,
case, 22
whether
years
it is
later,
in Louisiana
he got
or
rejected.
in Ohio.
I said,
so
that's
proud
not good.
That it's not just
he wasted,
extraordinary engineers.
Let's say half of his working life by getting an approval, and he didn't get. Now we get it in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. When I came in originally in my first term, we had 2 big LNG plants in Louisiana. They were in the 14th year of getting approvals, and they'd just been rejected. And I got involved. They were tremendous plants. They're up now. They're working beautifully. They built the 3rd one.
When you graduate, you have a license
if you
to be
like
a
pipes.
fiber technician.
This is a
and again,
plant, the whole thing is, you look inside, all it is pipes.
We are also
I've never seen
extremely
anything quite
proud
like
to
it.
sign the
It's like
ratepayer
lying
pledge
2 or 3
today.
Empire State
Also,
Buildings on their
in
side
Louisiana, as the
and doing
speaker just
nothing but
said,
putting pipes
we have
into
been
it.
able
So
to lower the
I didn't know
cost
exactly what it represented.
so
All I knew
many
is this is what they
Louisiana
needed. So
payers, energy
I got
payers, an
involved.
estimated
The first one I got done in one
$650
day.
million
The second one I was a little bit slower that
so
week.
we are proud to say
And it
today
took
that we
me
want
1
to
week.
fully cover
So
the
I got the
cost
first
of
one
the
done in
energy
1
that we
day.
use in
Got
our
fully
data
approved. They
centers,
were, and when they
create
called
jobs
up the
and
head, and I didn't
opportunity.
want anything.
But
I don't
more
want
than
anything for
anything,
myself.
sir,
I want it for
we
the
are
country.
really
When
proud
they called
that
up
we're
the
going to
head
look
of
back and have had
a
the privilege to work with
company
you
like a
and know that
Microsoft
America
or like any one of the
won in
people
such a
in
critical
this
time,
room, but they
and
called
that
up
we
the
did
heads.
it really
They
working
said,
with the
no, we got
American worker
rejected.
and so
No,
many
you
others.
just got
So
approved.
thank you, sir.
It was
Proud
1
to be
day
here
and
with
1
you.
week, and they were
So
built.
nice. Thank you very much.
And they're
I
in
also
your
want to
state,
say,
by
sir,
the
I
way,
forgot
right?
to say it.
And they are
it was
big.
10 years ago.
And they're doing
way
great.
before we were talking
And
about
there are lots
AI,
of pipes, right?
that you said
That's all I know
there
is
is
I said, I've
honor
never said
and
anything like
dignity
Anyway,
in commerce
so for
and in
these
workforce
companies
skills
committing to
training,
provide or
and you
pay
asked
for all
Ivanka, as
power
you know, to
generation
share that.
electricity
10
needed for
years
their AI
later, we could not
projects,
have
where
imagined
possible,
how
they
much
will
we needed
add
all of
capacity
those
to the
jobs
grid. They're
and
going to be
those
adding a lot of
programs, and you
capacity.
marshaled the entire
I think
government
it's
to
going to
do
be
it.
really, and
That
I've
is
seen
having
some
an impact
power
in cities
plants. I'm
across the
actually more
country. So thank
interested
you
in the
very
power
much.
plant
Thank you, sir.
than I am in information. I said, where do you make the money for this? They said,
Google is
information.
grateful for all that you
I said, okay.
and your administration are
That's gotta
doing
be a lot
to
of
secure
information, though,
America's
right?
continued
And it's turning out to
leadership
be
in
true.
AI.
David, it better be
And
true
to your
because you
point,
got a big bet.
it must be
This
powered
country
by
has a big bet
abundant
on
and
it.
affordable
But
energy if
it's,
it is to benefit all
It's
Americans.
incredible what they're doing and what
I'm
they're
pleased
coming
to
up
be
with.
here to
Second, they'll
underscore
cover the
Google's
cost
support
of
for the
upgrading
ratepayer
existing
protection
power
pledge.
delivery
We're
infrastructure and
committed
their
to
energy
assist in
demand
all of your work to
as
support
it requires
American
further
households, American
investment. So they'll be
businesses in this
upgrading
exceptional era of
existing
innovation.
power delivery
So 4 brief points how we
infrastructure.
will deliver on this
They
for
will,
Americans.
third,
First,
negotiate separate
adding
rate
to energy
structures
capacity.
with utilities
Consistent
to
with
clearly
your
and
call to
cleanly
build,
assign
bring,
them
or
to the
buy
cost
energy.
of new capacity
We will
investments
meaningfully
and
invest across
commit to
America to
paying
bring
even
new
if they
energy
do
online,
not
as
end
you
up
have
using
stressed
all
so
of that
frequently,
electricity. They're
to
going to make a
deliver the
commitment.
self-sufficiency
So
that
we're
is
going to
core
have a
to this
situation
pledge.
where you're not going to
In
have
Texas alone,
increased electric
we
bills
are
for homes
adding,
that are
we've
in the
contracted
area
to add more than
or even outside of the area.
7,800
And fourth,
megawatts of net
they'll invest
new
in the
energy
local
generation
communities
and
where they
capacity
build and
to the
operate,
grid
provide
as we grow our
workforce
data center
development and
footprint.
jobs
And very
for
much
skilled
to your
Americans
point,
like
we're
those
committed to
with us today.
continuing
We
to
have great,
invest to
great
add
skilled
capacity where we build.
people,
And to
electricians,
that end, we will very
engineers,
shortly close on an
HVAC
acquisition of
technicians,
Intersect
server and
Power,
network
which is going
technicians,
to enable
power
us to
plant
build data
workers,
centers
plumbers, welders,
right
and
next to those
many
new
others, all people
additional
that I've
power
hired. All my life
generation
I've been hiring you guys,
capabilities where possible.
and you've done a great job. I
Second,
built a lot of
to
buildings,
protect American
a lot of
ratepayers,
good
we're
ones.
committed
And
not only
finally,
to
they
pay
will
for
use
100%
their
of the
infrastructure
energy we use,
to
but very
contribute
importantly,
back up
the infrastructure
power
to
to
support that
local
growth,
grids
whether or
during
not we end up
times of
using that
need.
energy.
So they're going to have a lot of backup power. We're going to have a lot of excess. Basically, we're building massive amounts of electricity, and you're not paying for it at all. And the companies want to do it because this way they can, otherwise they couldn't build. I mean, the option really was not about cost, it was about there's no way of possibly taking the old grid and doubling it in a matter of months
to reduce
or
their
years.
electricity costs. I think this
So in
is
short, America's largest and richest tech companies will be funding a colossal expansion of U.S. energy. We'll have, I read, where China is building tremendous energy. And I got to respect it.
Every one job
we're
we
building
create in a Google data
similar
center
amounts. We're
gives
building
rise
what we
to an
need,
additional 9
and we're
jobs
building
in
it
the
through the
communities
private
in which
sector.
we're
We're building it
that
through
data
great
center.
companies, and
Those
I've
are
seen some of the
high-skilled
plants
construction jobs,
that
electrician
these
jobs,
geniuses, they are real
represented
geniuses, are
by so
showing,
many of the amazing people
and I
here
say,
today.
wow, that's
It's also
really
jobs
great.
across the community, in
You're really
schools,
doing
in
things in
restaurants,
terms
with
of
small
technology
businesses.
with
And we announced,
electricity
in fact, last week
that frankly
we're
the standard
free AI
wonderful
training for
power
all
companies
small businesses
probably aren't
across
going to be
America.
getting there. Maybe
and given the clear
as you
need
build
for
them, they'll be
electrical
started.
workers
But
in
some of the
America,
plants that I've
we're
seen, Dina,
particularly proud of the
are
work we've
absolutely
led
unbelievable.
To create an electrician
So they're going to be
training
producing
program,
massive amounts
and
of
we're committed
electricity
to train
and energy.
100,000 electrical
The grid,
workers
so the
and
American
30,000
consumers
new
aren't going to have
apprentices
to
across the
even
country.
think about it.
On top of that,
And your
we're
electric
excited
costs are
about
going to be going
significantly growing
down
these programs.
Now, unfortunately, it'll take a little time to get there.
As you
so
said,
they'll say, well,
the American grid needs to be more resilient.
I don't know who's going to follow me, but whoever is going to follow me is going to have some big advantage. You know, it happened with Biden where we got a lot of approvals for things, but they take statutorily a year or 2 years.
To make room
and I got
for the
one
community. And second, we're applying AI itself to the grid.
Good. Not as good as favored nations, which we just got.
Again, I want to thank you.
That's 80 and 90% drops. Okay, nobody's going to believe it. But I got one on various medicines, and it was good, but it doesn't kick in for 2 years. I said, I hope I win this election.
Thank you again for your leadership.
Because I'm going to get so much credit. And the election was rigged and stolen. And he stood up there one day getting credit. He didn't even know what the hell he was talking about.
Thank you.
He got the credit. He was talking about how he did this, and he had no idea what he was talking about, but we were the ones that got it. And I hate that. So this is going to happen again, because somebody's going to be getting a lot of credit into the future. But this is really the pretty current future. This is going to go very quickly. This is going to happen almost immediately. The United States is leading the world in AI by a lot. We're leading China. We're leading everybody by a lot. Without this, you wouldn't even, I don't think you could build, Brad, you couldn't build a plant, right? Without this, I don't think you could, you'd have to rely on the grid, and you wouldn't be able to do that. So the United States is leading by a lot. We're leading everybody, and it's not only, other countries are very much into it. They all want it, but we're going to be dominant in this field, which is very important. In crypto, we want to be dominant. We want to be dominant in everything we do. And this agreement will ensure that America can maintain the most advanced AI infrastructure on the planet without American families being forced to pick up the tab. And that's why the early ones, they hook up to the electric utilities, and they can't produce the
we haven't talked about that
kind
yet,
of
but this is actually
numbers
quite important. We will build
electric-wise that they
state-of-the-art
want,
water
and
recycling
they end up
plants
raising
that
the rates.
will
It's not going to happen anymore.
4.7
And now it's going to go the
billion gallons of water
opposite way.
in the
They'll make a lot of money
each year.
and
we will
electric rates.
employ
We actually think they're not going to stay. I think they're going to actually, Chris, they're going to actually come down. So your electric bills will actually come down. It'll take a little while, but not long. So this new strategy, never tried before in any country, will pave the way for continued American dominance in energy and technology working together.
Finally, Mr.
So you're going to have great energy sources because you're going to build them yourself, and if they're not good, you'll make them a little bit bigger and better, right?
By the nuclear reactor in the
again,
sky.
a lot of people,
Launching
it
supercomputers
took me
into space
6 months to convince people that I was serious about this. And we have a very big key to what we're doing is Lee Zeldin. He's in charge of the environmental department and energy.
I've been in space.
And the job he's done is incredible, getting you fast approvals. So some of the plants are starting and they're coming in. I say, Lee, 2 weeks for natural gas.
You've been strong and clear about building AI.
Don't worry about wind. Forget it. It's worthless. You don't get approvals for wind. We don't do wind in this because it's a loser. Except for China, they make all the windmills. China makes all the windmills. The only problem is they don't have wind farms. You ever think somebody's going to have to look at that? How many wind farms have you seen lately in China? They make the windmills. They sell them to the suckers over in Europe. Europe is buying them by the thousands. And I told them for 3 years this is not going to work out well. And now they're saying I was right.
Anybody like to say
but
we're finished with the
I say
official speakers, but
gas,
we have
clean,
the most
beautiful
important
calls.
people in the room.
We don't ever say in the Trump administration you're not allowed to use the word call unless you precede it by saying clean, beautiful.
As the
and Chris
California
made a beautiful
representative
speech
here,
about 3 weeks ago.
I can tell you how excited I am about your
very
proposal.
seriously.
First of all
every time
of you
it was
have
about
major
coal, and
presence
every
in
time he
California.
mentioned coal, it'd say
And
clean,
not long
beautiful
ago,
coal,
I
clean,
visited
beautiful coal, clean, beautiful. I said, Chris,
the largest site of one that's not here today, Apple. It's in Reno, Nevada.
It's sort of stepped in the speech a little bit. It was a little much, but
it goes
we got
on,
the point.
as you said, forever
The coal
with
is clean and beautiful.
It is doing a great job. It is one
so
of
many
dozens.
the
Most
nations
of you
that are
also
working
have centers
using
being put
coal,
up in that same
and you can do
neighborhood
things with coal
just
today that are
outside
incredible
my
in
state
terms of the
California.
environment and in terms of
the reason they're there.
But I said 2 weeks for oil and gas, coal,
and the story I just wanted to briefly say
nuclear power
that says
plant,
a
maybe
lot
take
about
2 or
the
3
current
weeks. You can
state
take
versus
add on
where
an extra
you're
week.
putting it,
But
with the help of industry.
Lee Zeldin has done an amazing job in getting you all of the permits that you need, because normally that would take many, many years, and they're already building the plants. They're being built all over the country, and they are incredible.
So
with that, I'll
because in Nevada
introduce
they were able to get all the power they
Chris
wanted.
Wright, who's
but they built
we were lucky to get him. Doug Burgum convinced me he was the best guy. I wanted Doug
them extensively. When California calls and says we're having a
he's doing a fantastic job. He said, there's somebody that's better than me on energy. I said,
so we don't go dark in San Jose, miles away.
Biggest in the industry, he's the smartest,
he's
the best.
That said so much to me about the
really,
responsibility of these companies already in the past.
For him to say that was not easy, but I met Chris,
the resilience
and
that these
it was
plants
sort of
will
love at first sight. He has done
as a result
some
of your work.
job, and so
and
has
they
Doug.
Won't be diesel plants.
Doug, we gave him interior
plants.
where they have all the oil,
temporary
and we gave him energy where they take it, right? So we sort of did a friendly merger without going through Congress, because if we went through Congress, it would never get done unless the Speaker wanted to get it done, in which case it would be all right. So, Chris, you can say a few words,
of these power plants
You
to
bet.
take solar
First of all,
when
thank
it's
you
in excess
all for being here today.
and
The reason we're here and the things that are going to happen are because of the people in this room.
Of your leadership.
I want to
and
thank
so,
you, Mr. President,
as
for your
someone
leadership.
Who is from a state that
very
may build
early
less
on.
of them,
I mean, first week, I'm in my new
needs
job.
them more
I've been
than
head of
any
Boston
other state.
4
I want
years.
to thank you for what
and I'm
you're
in the
doing
Oval Office
because
adjusting to
these
this.
companies now
and the
can be
President says to me
empowered
two
to
things
do
very clearly. He says, number
a lot
one,
more than
we
what
have
they
to lead in
did
AI.
so
We
far
have to lead.
on the
This is
edge
a
of
transformative
California
technology.
to help
America
California be
must
part of
lead
winning
in
the AI race.
And the old energy
Thank you
policies
very
that
much.
were going on
very quickly.
would
David,
not
please.
lead in AI. We need to lead in AI. Number two,
as I think all of you know here, we have an AI boom going on. We also have a construction boom going on. Just the leading companies in the U.S. are investing $650 billion this year building out this infrastructure. That's a 2% tailwind to GDP, and that is leading to job increases for construction workers and huge wage increases for construction workers like the fellows we got lined up here. So this is a very important boom to sustain, and thanks to your leadership, Mr. President, we're doing that, and we're protecting residential ratepayers, making sure that their electricity prices will not go up. That's the combination we need. And I just want to contrast it, if I may, with the approach of Democrats like Bernie Sanders. Their approach is just to ban. They just want to ban the data centers. So they want to stop the economic growth, they want to stop the wage increases for blue collars, they want to stop the construction, they want to just stop progress. That's not the answer. There's a much better answer. You have found it, sir. And I just want to vouch for the fact that in one of our very first meetings, you did say that you wanted to make our AI companies into energy companies. So that was, I remember thinking that's a really good idea. The President knows more about AI than I do. So this is thanks to your leadership we're here today. I know this is something that you've been championing for a very long time.
Thank you very much, and Katie, thank you.
Yes, Mr. President, so this is something that we've not only just talked about, obviously, on the national stage, but we've been talking about and wrestling with in Alabama as well. Look, we understand the need to win the AI race, and you have made sure that America is put first in every category, and that means that we dominate
electricity price rises during the Biden administration, and we shrunk our amount of available dispatchable
so when we're
electricity.
looking at their safety and security and what that will ultimately prevail there, we don't want to do it at the expense of ratepayers. And you once again have taken an incredibly complex problem that everybody wants to talk about, and you actually found a solution. You found a win-win. We're not only going to win the AI race as a result of what you're doing today, but you have said to every American, to every Alabamian, I see you, and we're going to make sure that your energy cost not only does not go up as a result, but you even said today with the added capacity that it's actually going to go down. In addition to all of that, I just want to say thank you to you for being willing to be good community partners. That's what makes all of this work. So the communities that you will ultimately reside in, you are saying we want to build you up in every sense of the word, giving you greater opportunity as a result of this pledge today. So, Mr. President, thank you for making sure that Americans put first.
Because, you know, they're the most powerful people in the country.
Expense, but it's rather to their benefit.
That's right. Very quickly, Doug.
Mr. President, I have to tell you something. You're the only person in the world that could put together this coalition.
I have had more people say, do you know
You're the only person in the world. I hope the American people understand what we're talking about here today.
And I learned so much about you, and you are the most powerful people in the country. So we want to be very nice to you. Please get us approvals. Please get us those approvals, okay? Thank you all very much. Thank you.
So, Mr. President, the thing that the American people need to understand is that you're not thinking about an election cycle. You're thinking about the next generation.
Revolution that's going to happen.
What you're doing
America
today
leading in
by
AI
having this
and
coalition
stopping
of
the
people
price rises
is is
thank you
making
all
sure
so much.
that the future generations,
and boy,
our children,
one of the other things I'm
are not
crazy
going to have to
lucky
be
about
concerned
is to
about
work as a partner
losing a war.
with a guy who has the hardest
that
job
means so much,
in the
especially in
world
this time now.
and does it
People
with
really
a smile,
take a
does
step
it
back
with
and
charm,
appreciate
and does it with grace.
This is
Speaker
actual
Mike
visionary
Johnson.
leadership, and it's going to take care long before.
Well, thanks so much, Mr. Secretary. Thanks to you all. It's a great honor to be here with the leaders of tech and industry, the FERC commissioners. They are so very important, and all these folks who help all this happen.
Bernie, I think
Look,
you're
only
okay.
President Trump has the gravitas to be able to assemble the leaders of all these great companies in one room, and also to conceive of an idea like the ratepayer protection pledge. This is an idea whose time has come. I think it's going to be so well received around the country because, let's be honest about it, there are concerns that people have had. There's a lot of misinformation out there, Mr. Secretary, about the rise in energy demand and what that's going to mean for our community. So it is so meaningful to have leaders, titans to come in and say, everybody be calm, this is going to be great. It's actually going to be better going forward. Not only is America going to stay on top and lead and be the strong superpower that we are, we're going to continue to lead on AI. We're going to continue to make the communities better. I'm in the state of Louisiana. A lot of this is happening in Louisiana, Mr. President. It's not just a bunch of beautiful pipes. It's also data centers, and that is doing a big one. And, of course, Amazon's working in Louisiana, and Stack, and so many of the other companies.
And let me say to the press, thank you so much for being here. It was fantastic. After the pledges are signed, if we can have you move out of the room as quickly as you can so we can do a little bit of business. But thank you for being here at this thing. And as you heard, the summary of the Trump agenda is lower prices, higher wages.
Better in these communities and in our states. We're so grateful for that. I like what you said a moment ago. This is a win-win-win across the board. You have everybody who's come to the table in good faith under the leadership of this extraordinary president to make this happen for the country. It's at the perfect time. Trust is not given by communities and local stakeholders. It's built over time. And I think this pledge is a huge part of building that important foundation for the future. America's back, Mr. President. I'm so excited about that. Excited to be a part of this. Thanks so much for letting us be it. Yeah.
I think we'll go with John. Is that all right? John Houston?
Thank you, Mr. President. In places like Ohio, this is a very, very big deal. I know that you know well that if we want to have economic dominance and national security dominance, we need to have technological dominance. And AI and data centers are a big piece of that. And I know that the American people want to win. They want to win this just like you do. We want to be superior to our challengers like China. We want to have AI dominance because that helps give our military, our manufacturing, everybody across the country needs AI dominance if America wants to win. And I know that you're the leader of the America First agenda. You want America to win, but so do the people in places like Ohio, but they're concerned about energy prices, right? They know that they like those folks out there, the construction trades that build these, the plumbers, pipe fitters, HVAC, electricians, the people that build the power plants, the laborers, the boilermakers. Like, these are working people in places like Ohio that do amazing work to build the data centers, to build the power plants, but people just are worried about their energy prices. And what you're offering today with this roundtable with the ratepayer protection pledge, Mr. President, is great leadership because this solves the problem that people were worried about. And as the data centers build new power plants, it leads to energy stability, affordable, reliable electricity for American ratepayers, helping them win the affordability battle that you're leading on behalf of this great team that you've assembled. And I just want to say thank you for your leadership on this.
Thank you very much, John. And I hear you're doing very well in your race. He's running for a very important seat in a great state that I like a lot. It's always been good to me, and it's going to be good to you, and it has been good to you. So good luck with that. Okay?
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're going to do good. Michael, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. You have been talking about this issue beginning as early as the campaign. In July, when we released the AI Action Plan, this was a focal point of the speech you gave. Talked about it again at the State of the Union. So this is a culmination of this idea that you've been working on for quite some time. And the key to all of this is that American AI leadership should never come at the cost of hardworking Americans' ability to pay their electricity bills. And frontier AI that all of these great companies work on every day, along with the data centers that underlie them, them are going to accelerate scientific discovery. They're going to unlock economic efficiencies. They're going to enable entire new industries to support the prosperity of all Americans. And to continue to lead in AI, these great companies need to make new data centers. We need new fabrication capacity. We need new manufacturing facilities, and we need new power plants to be able to do all this great work. And today, through this pledge, we are challenging all these companies to think bigger when it comes to data center construction by identifying ways that we can drive down the overall electricity cost, to ultimately strengthen grid resilience, and to create more American jobs in the communities that choose to build all of these data centers. By signing this pledge, all these companies here are making themselves accountable to you, Mr. President, and to the American people as they strengthen their commitment to benefiting the communities in which they build and they operate. We as an administration are using every tool at our disposal to ensure that the U.S. can build and maintain the largest, most powerful, and most advanced AI infrastructure anywhere on the planet. And today we recognize that building the future requires massive amounts of reliable energy. And I'm grateful to you, Mr. President, for acting so decisively to ensure that the growing demands of energy that we have are never passed to the American households. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dina?
Thank you, Mr. President. It's such an honor to be with you today. I also want to thank your outstanding team for partnering with us. You know, it's been remarkable to watch this transformational moment and you positioning America to lead. Our country has had very big transformational movements before, whether it was coming together, World War II, or the Industrial Revolution. But this is different. The next 3 years, in many ways, sir, are the whole game. And those 3 years, while you are president, you have positioned us to win. You have not only made sure that energy dominance is a key to how we will succeed in the compute needs we need, but you've also done something very important. You've made us all know that it's not about the products, it's about the people. And at Meta, we are so proud of the jobs that we are creating, whether it is in Louisiana or in Ohio. So proud that it's not just extraordinary engineers, it is pipe fitters, it is welders, it is electricians. And I'm particularly proud today to announce that partnering with Senator Moreno and Senator Husted, we have launched a pilot in Ohio to train fiber technicians, some who are in this audience actually today, a very important skill set needed to build data centers. This 4-week program is a new curriculum. When you graduate, you have a license to be a fiber technician and a guaranteed job with Meta. We are also extremely proud to sign the ratepayer pledge today. Also, in Louisiana, as the speaker just said, we have been able to lower the costs of so many Louisiana payers, energy payers, an estimated $650 million over 15 years. So we are proud to say today that we want to fully cover the cost of the energy that we use in our data centers, create jobs and opportunity, but more than anything, sir, we are really proud that we're going to look back and have had the privilege to work with you and know that America won at such a critical time and that we did it really working with the American worker and so many others. So thank you, sir. Proud to be here with you.
So nice. Thank you very much.
I also want to say, sir, I forgot to say it, you know, it was 10 years ago, way before we were talking about AI, that you said there is honor and dignity in plumbers and in workforce skills training, and you asked Ivanka, as you know, to chair that. 10 years later, we could not have imagined how much we needed all of those jobs and those programs, and you marshaled the entire government to do it. That is having an impact in cities across the country. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Ruth, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Google is grateful for all that you and your administration are doing to secure America's continued leadership in AI. And to your point, it must be powered by abundant and affordable energy if it is to benefit all Americans. I'm pleased to be here to underscore Google's support for the Ratepayer Protection Pledge. We're committed to assist in all of your work to support American households, American businesses in this exceptional era of innovation. So 4 brief points how we will deliver on this for Americans. First, adding to energy capacity. Consistent with your call to build, bring, or buy energy, we will meaningfully invest across America to bring new energy online, as you have stressed so frequently, to deliver the self-sufficiency that is core to this pledge. In Texas alone, we've contracted to add more than 7,800 megawatts of net new energy generation and capacity to the grid as we grow our data center footprint. And very much to your point, we're committed to continuing to invest to add capacity where we build. And to that end, we will very shortly close on an acquisition of Intersect Power, which is going to enable us to build data centers right next to those new additional power generation capabilities where possible. Second, to protect American ratepayers, we're committed not only to pay for 100% of the energy we use, but very importantly, the infrastructure to support that growth, whether or not we end up using that energy. And I think one example that brings that to life, I recently had the privilege of being in Arkansas with Governor Sanders, and our energy partner there, Entergy, announced that Google's investment covers the full energy costs associated with powering our data center, which contributes more than $1 billion back to Arkansas customers to reduce their electricity costs. I think this is precisely what you were saying we need to do more of, and we're committed to doing that. Third, I get very excited about the topic of workforce development, very much to your point, and the important topic of job creation. Every one job that we create in a Google data center gives rise to an additional 9 jobs in the communities in which we are building that data center. Those are high-skilled construction jobs, electrician jobs, represented by so many of the amazing people here today. It's also jobs across the community, in schools, in restaurants, with small businesses. And we announced, in fact, last week that we're providing free AI professional training for all small businesses across America. And given the clear need for electrical workers in America, we're particularly proud of the work we've led to create an electrician training program, and we're committed to train 100,000 electrical workers and 30,000 new apprentices across the country. On top of that, we're excited about significantly growing these programs. We've heard the pledge. Finally, Mr. President, as you said, the American grid needs to be more resilient, and so we're investing here as well. 2 quick things. We pioneered demand response with data centers, so we, with technology, will move workloads out of the way during extreme weather events to make room for the community. And second, we're applying AI itself to the grid to increase capacity in the grid. So again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you all for convening us. The benefits from AI, responsibly delivered, are immense for America's businesses, for America's communities, and for its citizens. Thank you again for your leadership on this very important point.
Thank you very much. Doing a great job.
Thank you, sir.
Gwen?
Mr. President, I want to thank you for your...
Thank you.
That's why I'm here. I want to thank you for your leadership. Because of your work on this issue, I'm confident that we will win the race with in AI with China and succeed in delivering inexpensive, abundant electricity for the American people. As you know, XAI builds huge supercomputers and data centers, and we build them fast. Currently, we're building one on the Tennessee-Mississippi state line. As part of today's commitment, we will take extensive additional steps to continue to reduce costs of electricity for our neighbors. Mr. President, we want to be on your team to deliver a big win for the American people. XAI will therefore commit to develop 1.2 gigawatts of power as our supercomputer's primary power source, and that will be for every additional data center as well. We'll expand what is already the largest global megapack power installation in the world. The installation will provide enough backup power to power the city of Memphis, and more than sufficient energy to power the town of South Haven, Mississippi, where the data center resides. We will build new substations and invest in electrical infrastructure to provide stability to the area's grid. We will build state-of-the-art, we haven't talked about that yet, but this is actually quite important. We will build state-of-the-art water recycling plants that will protect approximately 4.7 billion gallons of water in the Memphis aquifer each year. And we will employ thousands of American workers from around the city of Memphis on both sides of the Tennessee-Mississippi border. We will also commit to deploying our AI technology to make people's lives better, creating a period of abundance where electricity becomes cheaper and people have access to the best goods and services humankind has ever seen. Finally, Mr. President, we commit to take these efforts into orbit. We are currently designing orbital data centers powered by the nuclear reactor in the sky. Launching supercomputers into space will mean even more energy on Earth, as all the power plants that we're building now and power sources we've built will be available to the communities instead of the data centers. I've been in the space industry for nearly 40 years, sir, and I have never seen things move more quickly than under your administration, so thank you for that. Mr. President, you've been strong and clear about building AI that benefits Americans and benefits American values, including demanding that AI is consistent with American values. In July 2025, you signed an executive order directing agency heads to support only those AI models that prioritize truth-seeking and are ideologically neutral. We fully support that order, and we're fully on board with the ratepayer protection pledge, and I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much for your commitment.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Would anybody like to say something? We're finished with the official speakers, but we have the most important people in the room, and great people, political and otherwise. Would anyone have anything? Please, Darrell.
Perhaps as the California representative here, I can tell you how excited I am about your proposals. First of all of you have major presence in California. And not long ago, I visited the largest site of one that's not here today, Apple. It's in Reno, Nevada, Mr. President. It is 1,700 acres. It goes on, as you said, forever with buildings. It is doing a great job. It is one of dozens. Most of you also have centers being put up in that same neighborhood just outside my state of California. The reason they're there is the availability of power. And the story I just wanted to briefly say that says a lot about the current state versus where you're putting it with the help of industry. They have what you would call huge, beautiful power plants, one after another that they have. They built them for backup because in Nevada they were able to get all the power they wanted, but they built in resilience there. They've only had to run them extensively when California calls and says we're having a blackout. Would you please turn on your power generators so we don't go dark in San Jose, miles away? That said so much to me about the responsibility of these companies already in the past building backup power, but also the need to have the resilience that these plants will create as a result of your work. And they won't be diesel plants, they'll be clean burning plants, they won't be temporary or backup, they'll be positive. Lastly, my state has invested in solar, so much so that we have it to burn during the day. Literally, we burn it. We don't know what to do with it. The ability of these power plants to take solar when it's in excess and then provide that resilience 24/7, all as a result of your leadership. And so, as someone who is from a state that may build less of them, but needs them more than any other state, I want to thank you for what you're doing, because these companies now can be empowered to do a lot more than what they did so far on the edge of California to help California be part of winning the AI race.
Thank you very much. We'll go very quickly. David, please.
Thank you, sir. As I think all of you know here, we have an AI boom going on. We also have a construction boom going on. Just the leading companies in the U.S. are investing $650 billion this year building out this infrastructure. That's a 2% tailwind to GDP, and that is leading to job increases for construction workers and huge wage increases for construction workers like the fellows we got right up here. So this is a very important boom to sustain, and thanks to your leadership, Mr. President, we're doing that, and we're protecting residential ratepayers, making sure that their electricity prices will not go up. That's the combination we need. And I just want to contrast it, if I may, with the approach of Democrats like Bernie Sanders. Their approach is just to ban. They just want to ban the data centers. So they want to stop the economic growth. They want to stop the wage increases for blue collars. They want to stop the construction. They want to just stop progress. That's not the answer. There's a much better answer. You have found it, sir. And I just want to vouch for the fact that in one of our very first meetings, you did say that you wanted to make our AI companies into energy companies. So that was true, and I remember thinking, that's a really good idea. The president knows more about AI than I do. So this is thanks to your leadership we're here today, and I know this is something that you've been championing for a very long time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and Katie, thank you.
Yes, Mr. President, so this is something that we've not only just talked about, obviously, on the national stage, but we've been talking about and wrestling with in Alabama as well. Look, we understand the need to win the AI race, and you have made sure that America is put first in every category, and that means that we dominate there, and we do it in a way, though, that helps everyday Americans. So when we're looking at their safety and security and what that will ultimately prevail there, we don't want to do it at the expense of ratepayers. And you, once again, have taken an incredibly complex problem that everybody wants to talk about, and you actually found a solution. You found a win-win. We're not only going to win the AI race as a result of what you're doing today, but you have said to every American, to every Alabamian, I see you. And we're going to make sure that your energy cost not only does not go up as a result, but you even said today, with the added capacity, that it's actually going to go down. In addition to all of that, just want to say thank you to you for being willing to be good community partners. That's what makes all of this work. So the communities that you will ultimately reside in, you are saying we want to build you up in every sense of the word, giving you greater opportunity as a result of this pledge today. So, Mr. President, thank you for making sure that Americans were put first, and that this progress is not at their expense, but is rather at to their benefit.
Yep, that's right. Very quickly, Derek.
Mr. President, I have to tell you something. You're the only person in the world that could put together this coalition. You are the only person in the world. I hope the American people understand what we're talking about here today. You're meshing high tech with the hammer. You're putting these guys with the hard hats with the 100-pound brain nerds, and that's gonna be the future. Sorry, I love you guys. And so, Mr. President, the thing that the American people need to understand is that you're not thinking about an election cycle. You're thinking about the next generation. And what you're doing today by having this coalition of people is making sure that the future generations, our children, are not going to have to be concerned about losing a war. And that means so much, especially in this time now. If people really take a step back and appreciate this is actual visionary leadership, and it's going to take care long before or long after we're all gone, sir. Your efforts today are going to make America great into the foreseeable future. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Derek. You're doing a great job. Bernie, I think you're okay. You want to say something really fast, Bernie?
Thank you.
He gets my vote. He gets my vote. I have to go back and look at the war. You know, we have a lot of things happening. Thank you, Bernie. You're doing a great job. Please. This is Will Shoroff. Go ahead, Will. You have anything to say?
I think it's been pretty comprehensively covered by all the speakers you've had today, sir, but you're going to be signing a proclamation announcing the Ratepayer Protection Pledge. This is going to ensure American AI dominance in the years ahead, while also ensuring that American ratepayers, ordinary Americans paying their electric bills, aren't paying anything more. And along with the proclamation that you're signing, each of the CEOs and industry representatives that we have present here will be signing an actual copy of the Ratepayer Protection Pledge, committing them to your vision for this industry going forward.
Pretty good. Right?
And let me say to the press, thank you so much for being here. It was fantastic. After the pledges are signed, if we can have you move out of the room as quickly as you can so we can do a little bit of business. But thank you for being here at this thing. And as you heard, the summary of the Trump agenda is lower prices, higher wages.
Okay, you got it done. That's a good one. It's a good one. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, press.